Social media, you know, most of us use it nearly every day, and Jacksonville's sheriff's office says keep using it because it is helping them in a big way.
I got shot 8 times.
JSO is using social media as a frontline tool in fighting crime.
When I got shot, everybody went to claiming they shot me.
Well, JSO says now it's very successful tools right here at our fingertips. And of course is social media.
Because knowing like this might be the last day, this might be the last moment. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in the streets, you never know when it's your last time, like your last day. So
we used to get a couple tips a day. Now we sometimes get 20, 30, sometimes 40.
Melissa Bujeda says thanks to good old social media, the sheriff's office is getting all kinds of tips from the community, from burglary to murder cases.
I get shot in my hand. See my whole hand. See all this is off, but it grew back. You know what I'm saying? See my whole hand. So when they start shooting, I seen it.
Spike in murders here in Jacksonville has families on alert. The city's newly formed task force on safety and crime reduction is ramping up efforts to reduce the violence.
Tonight, Jacksonville rapper Yungeen Ace arrested and being called a gang member.
Jacksonville rapper Yungeen Ace arrested by Jacksonville Beach Police around midnight.
In regard to Keonta Bullard, he should have already been pulled and sent back. Mr. Stripling was here on his behalf earlier, and he made an appearance for the purposes of bond. I do find probable cause for the charge of possession of a firearm or ammunition by a convicted Florida felon. I'll appoint the public defender's office, pass the case to circuit court on May the 8th. Bond is set at $150,003. Conditions of bond are no contact with any co-defendants, no contact with any witnesses, and no contact with any gang members.
Slipping, for real. We ain't even on point because we're so caught up in the moment. Like 6 months later, when I had got shot and my brothers died.
That's what I don't get. How I took it too far when they made a song first. Speaking of, once the dead get involved, it's already too far.
The unfortunate truth about rap beefs that has spilled over to the streets is that the last person murdered isn't the subject of investigation. Instead, law enforcement tends to focus their attention on the retaliation that can and will come behind the murder, which in turn leads to majority of the killings going unsolved if a snitch isn't involved. When I say snitch, I mean you were actually a part of the crime that was committed and ratted to save yourself. One of the most notorious cities in the U.S. that has become infamously known for gangs, violence, and murder is Jacksonville, Florida.
Now from the News4Jax I-Team, safe streets from murders to robberies. The rash of violent crime in Jacksonville is a top concern for all of you. And for the first time, our cameras are allowed so we can give you a front row seat to what the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is doing to stop the hundreds of rival gang members who are responsible for much of the violent crime.
I-Team investigator Vic Michelucci spent several days and nights with specialized units so you can see how they're taking guns, drugs, and killers off the street.
Jacksonville is the most populated city in the state of Florida. Located on the Atlantic coast, northeastern Florida, it is the seat of Duval County, with which the city of Jacksonville consolidated in 1968.
In the mid-1960s, people here became fed up with corruption, waste, and duplication in the city and the county governments, and a crusade began to basically reinvent local government. Voters approved a revolutionary change, combining the city and the county under one government instead of two.
It was one of the largest cities by area in the United States as of 2020. City-county consolidation greatly increased Jacksonville's official population and extended its boundaries, placing most of Duval County's population within the new municipal limits. In turn, Jacksonville grew to 900 square miles. As of July 2022, Jacksonville's population was 900,071 and 319, while the population of Duval County was about 1 million. Murders in Jacksonville have been a problem for decades. The city's 32209 zip code, which includes the Moncrief, Durkeeville, and Grand Park areas of northwest Jacksonville, reported an increase in homicides in 2022. The jump in murder rate was a considerable 32% increase. The 31 homicides reported in the 32209 area in 2023 accounted for 20% of all the homicides in the city. Like the rest of Jacksonville, nearly all the killings in 32209 neighborhoods involve guns. Citywide, 130 of the 158 homicides were shootings. 89 homicides were reported in just 6 of Jacksonville's 34 zip codes last year. That's 56% of the city's total number of homicides. 32206 zone, which includes Brentwood and Eastside in the direction of the 32209 zone, reported 12 homicides. The other 4 zip codes where the deadly violence in 2023 were concentrated were 32210 Westside, 14 homicides, 32208 Northwest Jacksonville, Northside, 11 homicides, 32218 Densmore, Ocean Way, Northside, 11 homicides, 32244 Argyle Forest, Westside, 10 homicides. It's no secret that the majority of the murders can be attributed to gang wars, as what would be the case with Kenyatta Tyrone Bullard, aka Yungeen Ace, and his ATK affiliates. These are the detailed events that took place before, during, and after the murderous gang wars in Jacksonville. Born in East Chicago, Indiana, Kenyatta Bullard, aka Yungeen Ace, relocated to Jacksonville, Florida at a young age.
I grew up in Jacksonville, but I was born in East Chicago though. East Chicago, Indiana, but I was raised in Jacksonville.
Despite having 11 brothers, Ace would quickly learn that if he wanted to survive, he had to get it out the mud.
My mama, she got 8 boys. And on my daddy's side, I got like two brothers, three brothers.
At the age of 14, Ace dove headfirst into music, but wouldn't take rap seriously until 2017.
I was probably like 14 when I started making music.
The first music video that Ace dropped was Go to War.
I shot a video called Go to War. That was my first video. It hit 1 million views.
Although Ace had started making waves with his music, there was something deeper, darker, and sinister brewing in Jacksonville. There was a deadly war taking place, which was nothing new. However, what would make this war different was that it was playing out over social media for the entire world to see. If you're not a fan of hip-hop music, you're probably unaware of the level of talented musicians that were coming out of Jacksonville. And you're definitely unaware of the back and forth diss song shitting on the dead from 2 rivals. Those 2 rivals are ATK and KTA. Although Charles Jones, aka Julio Foolio, will say that KTA doesn't exist at all, it was made up by the internet. His clique is E6PN, derived from ESPN, with the number 6 being used in place of the letter S.
In terms of your crew names, Yungeen Ace is ATK, you're KTA.
Nah, my label ESPN, it's like ESPN, but it's a 6 with an SS, so it's E6PN.
Okay, so what's KTA?
Oh, that's something the internet came up with, bro.
There are hundreds of videos on YouTube describing what both acronyms mean with some slight variations. The one thing constant in both cases is that the K stands for kill. Yungeen Ace and Julio Foolio would both concede that the beef went from bad to deadly with the May 2017 killing of 19-year-old Zion Brown on Jacksonville's west side after his op stormed the house he was in and shot him to death. Zion was Foolio's cousin. 19-year-old Deontay Thomas will be arrested for the shooting.
Police make an arrest in a shooting that killed an 18-year-old and injured a teenager and a 9-year-old girl. This happened on the west side at this house on Saturday. The teenager tells News4Jax that her family was woken up about 1:30 in the morning Saturday when a brick came crashing through a sliding glass door in the back of their house.
18-year-old Zion Brown was the only adult in the home, along with 2 teens, a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old boy. Today, police said Deontay Thomas was the shooter. They charged him with murder. Channel 4's Janice Harris heard from police about the arrest. She joins us live.
And though an arrest has been made, the motive still very unclear, and Zion Brown's family saying they're afraid for their lives. And I want to show you here in the backyard that First Coast Crime Stoppers sign, hoping to make an arrest, which has happened, and some of that police crime tape. But the family has since moved out. Police say it was in this home where 18-year-old Zion Brown was shot by 19-year-old DeAndre Thomas. JSO says that they now have found their shooter. The deadly incident happened early Saturday morning. According to witnesses, Thomas broke out a sliding glass door, walked inside, and began shooting, hitting a 9-year-old and a teenager. They are recovering. 18-year-old Zion Brown died at the hospital. Police say Thomas was found near the Bay Meadows area, 30 minutes away from where the shooting happened. Investigators believe Thomas was not alone when he shot Brown and 2 children. Brown's family saying that they are fearful for their lives, not knowing why someone would ever come into this home and try to kill them in the first place. Live on the West Side, Janice Harris, Channel 4, the local station.
Ace pleaded no contest in an Orange Park robbery that occurred 7 months before Zion's murder. Deontay and Ace were both implicated in the robbery, where it was alleged that the two conspired to pull off an act to come up on a lick. Shots were fired into a home, nearly missing a couple and a 1-year-old child. Yungeen Ace was the target of a retaliatory shooting for Zion's death in June of 2018, when he and 3 other teens went to a town center restaurant to celebrate Ace's brother's birthday. Ace would survive the shooting after being shot 8 times. 3 others, including his brother, Trayvon Bullard, would all die.
A shooter or shooters on the run after 4 teens are gunned down to the south side. What we're learning about the men killed in a drive-by shooting. 18-year-old Trayvon Bullard, 19-year-old Jacoby Groover, and 18-year-old Royale Smith. They lost their lives late last night.
Police say the shooter followed the 3, along with a 4th survivor, from a restaurant at the St. John's Town Center to the Town Center Parkway, then opened fire. Sheriff Mike Williams says this shooting is gang-related, not an accident.
Not a random act of violence, obviously. And again, it's about encouraging young people to do the right thing and make sure you're engaged with the right people and you're hanging around the right people. And it's a tragedy, but one that could have been avoided.
Our news crews continue to follow this developing story. News4JAX' Eric Avignon joining us near Town Center Parkway, where shots rang out just 24 hours ago. Eric, a completely different scene there tonight.
Yes, you are very correct. As you can see behind me here, the Town Center Parkway is pretty much back to normal, which is a stark difference compared to last night around this time, when this entire area was one major crime scene. Now, since then, we have learned a lot about those 4 victims. A family friend of Kenyatta and Trayvon Bullard tells News4JAX that the 2 brothers were out with Royale Smith and Jacoby Groover Tuesday night celebrating Smith's birthday, when the celebration turned to tragedy. Police say the men were all riding together in this car on Town Center Parkway when people in another car that pulled up beside them started shooting at them. Kenyatta Bullard, who goes by the nickname Ace, was the only person in the car who survived the attack. A family friend says Kenyatta Bullard is an aspiring rap artist. His younger brother, Trayvon, goes by the name Quan. He had just graduated from Ridgeview High School last week. Kashawn Price graduated with him. He says he learned about Trayvon's death through social media.
I went on my Instagram, it was all over my feed. It was crazy.
Jacoby Groover was a standout football player at University Christian High School. He graduated last year. His former high school coach only had good things to say about him.
He was a good kid. Didn't really have any issues with him. He was always smiling. All his teammates loved him.
Now, as we have said earlier on, police do believe that this was not a random act. In fact, detectives have gone on to say that they believe this shooting was the result of an ongoing dispute between 2 groups. Reporting live, Eric Avignon, Channel 4, the local station.
The other 2 men were Royale Devon Smith Jr., aka 23, and Jacoby the Shot Grover. Following the shooting, Foolio would take to social media, uploading several posts glorifying the killing. Julio even created a t-shirt airbrushed with a photo of Royale Devon Smith Jr., aka 23, that said, "Rest in peace, 23." The bloodshed continued in January of 2019 with another shooting, this time outside of the Paradise Strip Club on Bay Meadows Road. Willie Addison, aka Boss Goon, was killed during the shooting. He had just performed at the club. In the car with Willie were family members who were also injured. Family members of Hakeem Robinson, aka Queso, were also injured in the shooting, including his father, Abdul Robinson, who was shot in the back. More retaliatory bloodshed would follow in January of 2019 with the shooting death of Charles Quentin McCormick Jr., aka Lil Buck. This shooting was followed by another hit a month later in February of 2019 with the death of Adrian Denard Gaynor Jr., aka Bibby, at a Moncrief area apartment complex.
A 16-year-old boy shot and killed at the Hilltop Village Apartments in Northwest Jacksonville. This is Sky 4 video of the scene. In the past 45 minutes, we learned the teen was found lying in the parking lot with at least one gunshot wound.
The apartments are on West 45th Street, not far from Moncrief Road. News 4 Jax reporter Eric Avigné is joining us live from the scene. Eric, still no word from police on any possible suspects?
No word from police on a possible suspect. No word from police about a motive to all this. Let me just step out of the way here. You'll see this is still a very active crime scene. This is going to be on the back half of the apartment complex, which I can say most of this is considered part of the crime scene. We can still hear loved ones of the deceased still crying off in the distance. That deceased, of course, is a 16-year-old. I want to just play some audio for you because I would say when we first got up here, we spoke to a couple of people who heard the gunfire. They say it sounded like a war zone out here. Listen to this.
It sounded like it was Iraq out here, like multiple guns, like from different guns. It was real scary. I was in my apartment. I heard it all the way from in my apartment.
Oh, most definitely. It sounded just like probably an AK-47 or something that would, shoot repeatedly without stopping.
Joining me right now is Tamika Gaines Holly, who is running for City Councilwoman of District 8, which is this district. I also know that you work over at Rebold High School. You had to console quite a few students there that knew the 16-year-old.
Absolutely. I'm the PTSA president over at Rebold High School, and as I walked up, my students, my babies, were sitting there crying their eyes out because they knew the student who once was at Rebold High School, but not currently. And I was outraged by their pain. I was outraged by the pain of this community, but instead of staying in that outrage, we're looking for solutions to the issue of crime, and making sure that we understand this crime is not politicized, but it's about people. And it's time that we work together with our police and our city and with our business community, our faith community, our schools, and make sure that we're addressing the root issue. One of the problems was that the safety standards for our housing developments, ensuring they had operational cameras. We've been battling that issue for some time with this particular development here, making sure that they have the safety standards that we require to keep our people safe.
And I understand when your students came up here, they heard the gunshots.
They heard the gunshots. They were getting out of school. So when they getting out of school, they're coming home to their friend laying dead in the place where they live. That's very hard to get up out of your mind.
All right, thank you again. That was Tamika Gaines Holly. I said that right, correct? Yeah, Tamika Gaines Holly, who is running for City Councilwoman for this district, District 8. Of course, we're going to have more on this coming up later tonight at 10 and 11. Reporting live, Eric Avigné, Channel 4, the local station.
The bloodshed would continue as Julio and his girlfriend were both injured in separate shootings and clear attempts on their lives. In a savage move, Queso celebrated the killings by putting images of the dead men on the cover of his album, which he titled Baby Out. Like a cat with 9 lives, Yungeen Ace would escape death again in March of 2019 after another attempt on his life in Waycross, Georgia.
Hello? Yes, I'm calling from the Hampton Inn in Waycross.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like there's been gunshots or something here. Not in our room. It's outside our window. It's outside.
Okay. Did you see anything, sir?
Yes. My wife saw some guys running or something.
A 30-year-old man was killed in that shooting. 3 men were arrested.
Ware County tonight, 3 Jacksonville men face charges after a reported ambush targeting rapper Yungeen Ace in Waycross early yesterday morning. 1 man was killed, another hurt in that shooting. Alex Asadis joins us tonight from Waycross with new details in the investigation.
The bullet holes here, and right over there, the lingering reminders of this deadly shooting at this Waycross hotel.
Well, it's kind of scary. I mean, thank goodness we were closed.
Ayanna Smith works just across the street from the Hampton Inn, the scene of Sunday's shooting. A group of men, including rapper Yungeen Ace, were near the pool when they were shot at, according to police. Jeremy Brookings killed. Waycross police arresting 3 Jacksonville men. Mark Isaac Jefferson, Leroy Gerard Whitaker, and Devontae DeMorris Starks, all facing various charges, including possession of a firearm.
They weren't from here, so they brought that to our city, and that kind of scares us.
Smith says she's familiar with Yungeen Ace. Her teenage sons listened to him. The rapper performing Saturday night at this venue, confirmed by advertisements found on social media. No one was at the business Monday afternoon, and our attempts to contact the managers were unsuccessful. Smith says safety is a concern, but the reputation of her city is also at stake.
When things like this happen, then that kind of tone a little stuff down for us.
Coming up tonight at 6, more on the investigation now in the hands of Waycross PD. We're in Waycross tonight. Alex Osiris, First Coast News, on your side.
In March of that same year, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrested Queso, charging him with killing Bibby and Lil Buck. This arrest came after several months of Queso posting several videos of himself bragging about the killings, as well as taunting Julio Foolio about smoking on a Bibby pack.
Jacksonville rapper known as Queso is among 5 people indicted on first-degree murder charges. The News 4 Jax team has been looking into this case and others involving local rappers making music videos about real murders. Joy's here now with a closer look at the indictments. Joy.
Mary, we'll start with rapper Queso, whose real name is Hakeem Robinson. A grand jury upgraded his charges from second-degree to first-degree murder in 2 different cases. He's charged in the shooting deaths of 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor in 2019 and 23-year-old rapper Charles McCormick Jr. in 2020. Now, Robinson is known for his controversial rap videos with details about the murders, but his attorneys have said the lyrics do not prove he is guilty. Still, investigators say he's linked to the violent drug gang ATK. Robinson's brother, Abdul Robinson Jr., and Leroy Whitaker, they were also indicted for first-degree murder today in the shooting of Charles McCormick.
It wouldn't be long before Julio Foolio will return the favor, posting several videos of himself taunting ATK and Yungeen Ace, talking about who I'm smoking. On March the 28th of 2021, Spinner Benz, Whopper with the Chopper, Yungeen Ace, and Fast Money Goon would release the most disrespectful rap video in the history of rap, Who I Smoke.
In this music video,
And now I wonder what I said. Got a low, I told her drop that. FNSP when the head ain't got the kite back.
the man in the green shirt is Kenyatta Bullard. He's known as rapper Yungeen Ace. He was a sole survivor in a deadly quadruple shooting at the Town Center in 2018. In the video, he wears an ATK chain around his neck. The lyrics reference 3 men killed in shootings.
Who I smoke, baby, who I smoke, Tiki, who I smoke, Lana.
One of the victims, known as Bibby, is 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor.
Not to be outdone by ATK, Julio Foolio released several videos himself. On March 31st of 2021, Foolio dropped the remix to Beatbox in his ops hood. Most disrespectful of them all would be Foolio's remix of When I See You.
Through the 12, I don't see nobody outside. He kept dissing on me. What happened? Now we smoking 23.
While many of these shootings were playing out on social media and in the streets, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Gang Task Force were using rap videos to make arrests. In January of 2019, JSO arrested several men solely for what they were doing on social media. While this deadly beef apparently started a few years ago, Yungeen Ace and Julio Foolio's viral music videos suggest it was just getting started. Let's fast forward. In 2023, Foolio called Ace a snitch and shared an interrogation video of Ace talking to the police.
They were fighting.
Who was fighting?
Man, right now, you just seen they were fighting. Shit. I ain't even, you know what I'm saying?
You were there.
I know, like I said.
Okay, tell me the situation. Like I said, this happened in Duval County.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what was been reported or not reported. So tell me the scenario of what happened right here.
They were fighting.
Who was fighting?
Them right there, you just seen.
But tell me who, though, Kenyatta. I don't know who. Explain this.
They were them two right there.
Who was fighting?
Them two right there.
Who were they?
Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were fighting.
Jeremy's fighting who?
The boys.
Now, Jeremy's your boys, right? Your side?
No.
Who's on your side?
The other boy.
Who's the other boy?
My brother.
Who's your brother? Trevon?
Yeah.
Okay.
They was fighting.
Why were they beefing?
I don't even remember. Like I said, I swear, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't even know why they beefing.
Okay, that's explainable.
Like,
over a girl, some stupid shit.
I don't. No.
They looked at you. Where did this happen off Collins Road over there at Highland Lakes? So y'all went over there because Trevon was gonna get in a fight?
Yeah, they will fight. Like they fought.
Okay. So why did the guns get brought out? Why did all the shots fired?
They started shooting.
They started shooting.
Yeah, the other boy started shooting.
Well, DeAndre shot because that's very clearly gunshots coming from his hand.
No, you gotta change it.
This whole beef was some wild shit, and an unfortunate turn of events. Foolio would lose his life. On June the 23rd of 2024, Julio was shot and killed at a Holiday Inn across from the University of South Florida in Tampa early Sunday morning.
Tonight, we are working to learn more about a shooting that left a Florida rapper dead and 3 others hurt in Tampa, not far from the University of South Florida. Good evening. I'm Allison Henning.
And I'm Ty Russell. Thank you so much for joining us. Investigators say it happened outside a Holiday Inn. And News Channel 8's Georgia MacArthur also noticed bullet holes at a neighboring hotel.
Ty and Allison, a prominent rapper, Charles Jones, whose stage name is Julio, was celebrating his birthday here in Tampa when it was cut short by gunfire. Take a look here, a bullet hole here at the wall of this hotel. Also, I'm going to show you here, this window appears to be boarded up. Now, Jones's longtime attorney confirmed very limited details as to what happened here at this hotel. A black car riddled with at least a dozen bullet holes, a window boarded up, and bullet holes on the wall of this hotel along McKinley Drive in Tampa.
I only heard one. It woke me up, but apparently there were more than that.
Police say they responded to a shootout just before 5 o'clock this morning. Investigators say 26-year-old rapper Julio, whose real name is Charles Jones, from Jacksonville, was gunned down in this parking lot between 2 hotels in Tampa.
At this point, it's part of the investigation, but it seems that they might have been coming here to the hotel to get a room.
Longtime attorney Louis Fusco, who represents Jones, confirms the rapper was kicked out of an Airbnb, then went to a hotel. That's where investigators believe Jones and his entourage were ambushed. Social media posts point to the rapper celebrating his birthday, and witnesses say it was interrupted by an unknown group. Now the search is on for the parties involved in the shooting.
You know, we always say it, but in cases like this, it really does make the difference. If you saw something, if you heard something, any little detail can help us figure out what happened here this morning.
The attorney who represented Jones is asking for privacy for the victim's family during this very difficult time. In Tampa, Georgia MacArthur, 8 on your side.
The Tampa Police Department received a 911 call regarding a shooting at 11606 McKinley Drive at approximately 4:40 a.m. Upon arriving to the scene, the deceased victim was none other than Charles Jones, aka Foolio. Officers observed 2 vehicles that had been shot at in the parking lot of the Holiday Inn. 4 people were injured in the shooting. It was there that police would find Julio. He would be pronounced dead on the scene. The other 3 victims were treated at local hospitals. Social media posts from Foolio's IG account showed a pool party at an Airbnb. Other images posted by Foolio promoted a birthday party at Teaser Strip Club in Tampa. Ultimately, it would be the dropping of his location by himself and others that would seal his fate. Social media would explode as internet detectives would piece together their own conspiracy theories. As always, in a not so shocking turn of events, it wouldn't be long before Yungeen Ace would upload the infamous Game Over diss track to his YouTube channel. In this video, Ace would seemingly braggadociously take credit for the murder of Julio. It was this video that would trigger fans and onlookers alike to believe every word and accuse Ace of actually murdering Julio.
In more local news tonight, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has launched a new website to help police close the case on unsolved crimes.
Can rap lyrics be used as evidence in court?
When something occurs in that video and that rap matches the crime, it's going to be real hard in a criminal court to try to attempt on behalf of the defense to exclude it.
TK Waters announces a new community partnership project. It's a way for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to solve crime.
That same chat is being used as evidence, and now social media can give investigators a track record leading up to a crime.
Just when the world thought that Yungeen Ace was done with the diss tracks aimed at the murder of Foolio, he would drop another diss song. On July the 12th, Ace uploaded the track Ready to Die.
These niggas don't kill for real. These niggas don't drip for real. These not in the field for real.
On the song, Yungeen Ace would continue to take shots at Julio Foolio, even giving some details as to what part of the body Julio was shot in, which had not been released to the public before recording the track.
Fuck 12, it ain't catching that. Face shot. Fuck 12, you ain't solving that.
Was it all just a lucky guess? Was he just clout chasing, living in the moment? It was these same questions that would be on the mind of law enforcement. Yungeen Ace would also let it be known that his ops would never use a bitch to bait him in because he ain't falling for the trap.
Nigga ain't falling for none of these hoes. These hoes can't set me up.
Per Jacksonville's crime analyst database, evidence has been gathered which will lead to a potential arrest and RICO indictment of several men affiliated with ATK, pinning Ace as the head of a CCE.
So Yungeen Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them. I won't speak to the chief's investigation, that's up to TPD, but he can't move around in Jacksonville without us knowing about it. And that's for the betterment of our community.
Furthermore, it was found that the shooters are members of or affiliated with rival gangs of Jones that go by ATK and 1200. Jones was part of the 6 Block gang. Detectives believe that the ATK and the 1200 worked together to target Jones as part of an ongoing feud in Jacksonville.
In this world, you got to understand you live to die. So you know people die early, you know people die later on. When it's your time, it's your time. So you only promise one thing in this world, and that's death.